We've got Royce Dunne with us, competitor at CrossFit Games Individual out of the Meridian. You guys are Pacific region.
Pacific region,
yeah. Royce, good to have you.
Yeah, great to be here, guys. Thank you.
You've been here since when?
Couple days, 5.
Last Monday, I believe.
A week.
Oh, Tuesday was when the first day I came down to the barn.
Oh yeah, because you
flew
were
into Nashville on Monday, drove to Cookeville.
So he's the first Mayhem athlete that has qualified for the games
first
aside from
satellite Mayhem athlete.
Sorry,
that
let's
has made it to the games.
Yeah,
in the history of the world.
In the history of the world.
Wow.
So how did you find the program? What made you decide to do it? Give us a little background.
Well, I just saw the program online, just through the different, just through Rich's different medias, like on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. And we just got back from the 2016 CrossFit Games as a team. And a few of us were kind of knocking on the door of individual. A couple of the girls wanted to essentially retire, like they were done. Yeah. So we kind of went out separate. Most of us were coaches on the team, so we were kind of just doing coaches WOD and
what team was it?
CrossFit Torian.
Okay.
That's my home box back in Brisbane.
You actually met them when you were at the games.
I did?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, you guys.
No.
They came up and introduced themselves to us. Yes.
When you guys destroyed the first event, the Murph, and you guys were like on the finish line, like cheering teams on, we were like the second last to finish.
You finished. That's awesome.
Yeah, we beat the original time cap that David set before he decided that everyone would finish anyway. So that was pretty good. And so yeah, I was looking for something to do, and I was looking for some programming because like we'd had the member program obviously, but like most of the competitive individuals at our gym at the time were just the coaches. And so I thought, well, if I'm going to do any program, I might as well do what the champ is doing.
Appreciate that.
If you're going to pay for anything, you're going to pay for the best. So yeah, I just jumped on it and been on it since whatever that was, I guess late July 2016.
So 2-ish years now?
Yeah, we're just over now, I guess.
Wow.
What's your sport background?
So I played Australian football.
That's where they have the guy in the hat that does this?
Yeah.
Like this?
Goal, 2 hands for goal, 1 hand for a point.
Yep.
And played that from like age 5 up to about 14. Like they're all through primary school and a bit of high school. Then a couple of years of tennis, mostly for fun because tennis is one of those sports you got to get into it really early. Like when I was like 15, I was playing like the fixtures matches against like the 10-year-olds, and they were crushing me. And then just like Globo gym for a few years until I found CrossFit.
Nice. Yeah, I used to watch Australian rules football when I had shoulder surgery. I couldn't sleep at night.
Yeah.
And so it'd just be on late night TV.
Yeah.
And I'd sit there and watch. I had no idea what was going on, but it was awesome to watch.
Yeah.
But it seems like
Feels like a circle, right? Or
it's an oval. It's an oval field. So it's about 150 meters deep, but a little bit skinnier left to right.
It's different than rugby because you have to maybe kick everything.
It's like totally. The closest sport I think it is Gaelic football. It's like it's based on Gaelic football,
which I know nothing about.
Yeah, so it's like soccer, but instead of kicking the ball around, you're just moving the ball anyway. So hand passes, you can kick obviously to cover the most ground.
Yeah.
It's like 3-dimensional. So the ball can go back and go forward. Yeah, and like soccer, you're just trying to find a free man. So you might go push up the field a bit, then bring it back, and then someone makes a break. And obviously the goal is to try and kick a goal at the end.
Right.
And is there 4 uprights?
4 uprights, yeah. The joke is it's the only sport where you get rewarded for missing.
No.
So through the 2 uprights in the middle is a goal at 6 points. The outside, anything through the outside uprights is 1 point. And if anyone can touch the ball before it goes through the goal, it's automatically a 1 point. So you can stop a goal from happening by getting a hand to it. It has to be a clear on the full.
It has to be kicked through, though.
Has to be kicked through. With no touches. It can bounce through, but no one can get their hand on it.
Wow.
Are there like downs like American football? You get 4 downs to get there, or is it?
No. So the game's evolved a little bit, but to keep the play flowing, they have this holding the ball rule. So if you get caught holding the ball, like you haven't made an effort to get rid of it when someone tackles you, then it's a free kick to the other team. So pretty much like if you can get hands on someone in like a secure way and they can't break free, they got to get rid of the ball. And if you get tackled properly, it pretty much is a handover.
You guys have to punch the ball, right?
Yeah, the hand pass. Okay. Yeah, you have to get a hand to the ball. You can't just throw it. If
Not
you
like
throw
a rugby throw.
It's free kick to the team.
See,
it's action-packed. I love it.
This is different than rugby?
Totally different.
Oh
yeah,
my
so
gosh!
different.
I'm like, there's like I watched rugby.
It's like wide
before,
open and
so
just
I
like
mean,
jumping and
Yeah,
sliding
people
in
are
the
getting
air.
drilled too, right?
Yeah. All the injuries happen from people like
Jumping.
going for a mark. That's what the catch is called.
A mark
Yeah, that's what the catch is called.
or a mock.
Mark. M-A-R-K.
I'm
You're going
just
for a
messing with
mark,
you, man.
and you're looking at the ball, and someone else is trying to catch the ball as well, and you just like
Plow each other.
collide.
Do you have any
like,
injuries
hard.
from it?
Not permanent injuries, but I've been
Permanent.
knocked nearly unconscious a few times from that kind of thing, like running and just head clash, or you go down to pick up the ball and you come up and someone's knees are out there or something like that. It's a bit like it can get messy, so you got to kind of eyes in the back of your head.
Did you ever see that video of us playing Ultimate Frisbee with Lauren Neal?
No.
You've seen that, right?
No.
I see if we can
Sorry.
upload it
Oh
to this
my
because we're playing
gosh.
Ultimate Frisbee at one of the Train with Riches.
Right.
And there's a frisbee that somebody throws, and so I go up for it, and Lauren comes up at the same time, but I jump, and she jumps into me and just goes flat. Like I'm up at her shoulders.
Oh yeah, it was high, and it was on
unconscious?
video. And
Like
she
I'm
was
just like up here, and she just jumps and just out. I'll see if we can.
I saw the
video.
clip
It's like hitting a wall.
of Lindy's partner John wiping out Ted.
Oh yeah,
One of those
yeah.
things, just like
Playing
hip checks,
handball?
like
Yeah.
hockey style, just hip checks him.
Yeah,
Like,
that was a little
He's,
aggressive.
aggressive.
and John's like gleefully laughing.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like-
John's being John.
Yeah, he's a hockey player. That's like what he's used to.
So you kind of get a bit of that actually. So because in Australian rules, you're allowed to shepherd. Like
Okay.
you're supposed to. So
Shepherd?
So if there's two of us going in, if you're on my team, there's two of us going in. Rich is on the other team trying to come in and
Block or whatever.
and get the ball. I can let you go and I can block him. And the only rule with tackling is you can't push someone in the back. So if I position myself just right, Rich can't really do anything about me being there. He has to kind of just struggle past me. He's not allowed to just drive me out of
Plow
the
through
way.
you.
So you can get in the way. And if you time it really well, if Rich and you are going for the ball at the same time, I can line up like a good shoulder bump. It's not in the back, it's shoulder, and just
Plow.
knock you off the ball like hard. You can
Sounds
get like
like a
absolutely
pretty
absolutely.
Sounds like a fun game.
It's like a, sounds like a
I was
really
gonna
fun
say,
game.
this sounds like a sport
Yeah, it's
you
been a
would
while
really
since I
like.
watched it. I want to watch it.
It's a real
again.
team game. It's a real chess match. If you can set it up just right, you can
Yeah.
like have your team get the ball out of like a scrimmage
Yeah.
out of a scuffle, and you can like knock someone like out.
Yeah. So how does the game start?
The game starts like basketball. Instead of a throw up, it's a bounce. They
Oh,
bounce
okay.
the football. It's an egg shaped football, so it goes
Similar to
anywhere and
similar to a
everywhere.
rugby ball.
Very similar. A little bit skinnier because it kicks better. And so they bounce the ball up to ruckman, to like players that with a certain position have to like fight for the ball, and then it's on. Once the ball's on the floor, it's go.
Now, it's because we're on the
Sounds
subject,
awesome.
I've got to know, how do Australians feel about New Zealand and their rugby teams? Is that like a big-time rivalry? Because I was
yeah.
watching something the other day. Well, it's the Sevens. They just had the World Cup Sevens
Yeah.
here in the United States, and New Zealand won.
Yeah. So New Zealand, so rugby union, like rugby.
Right.
New Zealand is like the best in the world. It's
Right.
like
The
their
All
sport.
Blacks.
The All Blacks are like a
The
dynasty.
Haka, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And yeah, in Australia and like the Wallabies and the All Blacks have a really big rivalry.
Right.
But New Zealand almost always comes away with the win. It's really frustrating.
Crazy.
Why
an
you guys
island
let that
small.
happen? Let's go.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well,
It's
I
crazy.
mean, it's just it's the sport in New Zealand. Like, there's
Yeah.
just so much invested into it,
Right.
and so it's hard to kind of like in any sport, it's hard to break those dynasties when
Sure.
there's a culture set there, and they're just like
Right.
to put on the All Black jersey is like an honor among honors.
Yeah.
And it is the same with the Wallaby jersey, but so many of players when you come up in high school and if you're kind of good at rugby. League pays a bit better. There's a bit more of a following in Australia, rugby league,
Right.
in the actual states and like on TV and stuff. So you kind of get, the talent gets diverted, I suppose.
What's the average pay of someone in that league?
In league or in rugby?
I don't know either.
What's your money
I'm so
called?
confused.
What's it called in Australia?
Dollars.
Oh, you use dollars.
Yeah,
now?
okay. So exactly the same.
I didn't even
Actually,
know
no,
that.
I didn't know. Yeah.
We just don't have the coins. Don't have any special names though.
Oh, okay.
It's just 5 cents, 10 cents.
Oh, okay. You
20,
don't have
50.
quarters,
Yeah, there's no
dimes, nickels.
Yeah.
Well, the U.S. finished 5th, which is the best they've ever finished in sevens, and then it was New Zealand and Britain.
The full game is 11s, right? It's rugby.
Silver, how do you know all
I
this?
think
Because
so.
I watched it this week.
I don't
I was
follow
really
rugby,
into it.
so I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, rugby. I've tried to watch rugby a couple of times when I've been overseas, and I kind of get it, but it's still kind of confusing.
I
to
don't
me.
even get it.
cool.
It is awesome.
Oh,
It's
man.
cool. Yeah.
It's a lot more strategy. Like, so league is a bit more like American football. There's set number of tackles. You can't really. You can intercept the ball, but like if you tackle someone, that's kind of what you can do. You tackle them. They get
Seven's
that's
a
one
lot
of their
faster,
ticks.
right?
So rugby, you can actually like ruck over the player and steal the ball.
Right.
It's hard to do, and it doesn't happen often. But the play is more free flowing. Like there's no limit to tackles. You can get tackled as many times as long as you keep playing the ball well and progressing. And so there's a bit more strategy to it, that you'll see them kick the ball a heap until they kind of get enough, the juggle happens, they have enough of an advantage, and they'll start playing from there. And yeah, it's I don't watch it a lot, and I don't really understand it as much. Well, I'm probably butchering the explanation, but it's
we'll probably
it's a thinking man's game. Whereas league is a bit more like,
I'm gonna have to look all this up now.
People hitting each other really hard, and if you can punch through the line, you're going to score a try, which is a bit more fun, a bit more appealing to the masses.
Wow.
My favorite thing you say is "How you going?"
How you going?
How you going?
Yeah.
Like instead of "How you doing?" or "What's up?" or whatever, it's "How you going?"
How you going?
Or
Yeah,
is it-
I guess that's pretty much
How you going? Instead of "How are you going?" or "How's it going?" is how we would say it.
Yeah.
How's it going?
How's it going? No, just
Is that how you're gonna start doing
you
it now?
going.
How you going?
How you going?
I like it,
I
but
don't know how to do the
it's not
accent
it's
right.
not ours
It's
really.
like you're for the heck.
Yeah, for the heck. Yeah,
For the heck.
I tried to start.
Yeah, I guess you
swear.
didn't really realize until you talk to people from other countries. Australia is very slangy. There's
Yeah.
like so much.
Sounds so fun. It just sounds fun.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
awesome.
It is. Yeah.
So what's the biggest thing? So doing, the Mayhem Athlete program, what's the biggest thing you've kind of learned or taken away from doing it for 2 years?
It's hard. It's kind of intangible, I suppose. Like any good athlete on any program would get results, right? But I don't know, just the style of Rich's programming, the simplicity in the workouts. The biggest thing I've taken away personally is some of the volume of the movements. So I wouldn't attempt like a certain amount of handstand push-ups or muscle-ups in workouts, for
You
example.
mean you wouldn't have done 75 strict handstand push-ups today like we did?
Like, that's on the lower end. I thought
Right, yeah.
25
Yeah.
per
True.
round is on the lower end.
That is true.
And like, so that's what I mean. Like, there's some workouts with like 40 to 50 handstand push-ups
Yeah.
at a time, and I would never do that for myself.
Yeah.
I suck at them. I would never attempt that or give that to someone else. So, but that's just like you talk about all the time with the team. Like, that's the perspective shift, I suppose, that Rich brings with his programming. That like, well, it is doable. Just might take you a bit longer, but.
Was there like a curve when you started doing it that like you had to adapt to higher volume, or at that point had you done enough that you just jumped right in, or how did you kind of approach it when you first started doing it?
I jumped right into all the volume of the sessions, but there was definitely a curve of performance. Like the first few workouts, the first few weeks definitely like squashed me.
Yeah.
The strength stuff not so much because I've been doing, that's probably I've got the most training years in like in strength program, like powerlifting and then Olympic lifting. But like, so gymnastics wasn't that great, and just like lactic tolerance, just hurting in workouts, like really simple movements paired with a salt bike, but just like not the pace you could do at. It could seem easy if you do it slow, but the pace you're supposed to do it at is what makes it really hard.
Yeah.
Intensity.
Yeah, exactly right. The intensity.
Ellie said she used to just lay in bed and hurt at night. when
I'm
she
not
first
even
came
kidding.
here.
The first months living here, I couldn't sleep. Like I was in so much pain all the time. And that's when I left at noon.
Yeah, that's true. You
I
used
would
to
be like, well, kind of. I'd come back for like,
She'd
I'd do
sleep
the
in her
morning.
car.
I'd take a nap in my car in the parking lot.
or drop a bar off the boxes onto a rower, something like that.
I've heard that story.
Have you seen the video?
Yes.
You should have taught me. That's on you,
It's
I
your
guess,
fault,
right?
I guess.
No, she was with the girls. The girls were like, you guys were doing your own thing.
No, we weren't. We would just go to the jerk boxes on our own.
You did.
Nah.
It's not what the girls are doing. It's what's Rich doing.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
Oh,
yeah.
no, just kidding.
That was like Lindy's first week, and you just see her in the back of the video, and like she sees what happens, and she's like, people are yelling, and she's like starting to like creep away, just know how to respond. So I mean, Rich got a little
I
heated
think that's
that
one of the
day.
only times I've ever really yelled at you.
What is going on, man?
Yell at
Sorry.
me all the time.
You want to throw
Not
that over
real
there?
yells.
No, not. But you really yelled at me? That's
Yeah.
for real?
What do you mean for real?
I thought you were faking it.
No.
No, I saw
was
the video. That's
pissed.
pretty legit. Yeah.
But it was fixed.
Yeah,
have,
I
like-
got it fixed. Luckily, Greg Hammond with Concept 2, I was like, hey, this is what happened. He's like, I'll get it fixed. Ellie didn't do it. You didn't fix it.
You started
Sorry.
costing him money right out the gate, man.
Yep. Just throwing away money.
How much do you think I've cost
Like
you
that
so
garden
far?
out there, just
I
throwing
can't
away money.
count just because of the quality of life that you've taken away.
You don't mean that.
Some days.
What would you say then, since you've been doing the programming? Is there one area where you feel like you've really improved, or is it overall improvement, or?
Overall improvement. My weaknesses have all gotten better, definitely. there's still weaknesses, but gymnastics has improved a lot, like volume. And I'd say just my actual cardio.
Mm-hmm.
So it used to be that it was the gas in a lot of workouts that would get me. You just like, I need to stop for a break, I need to bend over and just like breathe. Now it's the fatigue, like it's the arms are blown out on a handstand push up, or legs on a deadlift or a squat, that kind of thing. So it's a better place to be where the conditioning's up a bit higher, and it's just building in more and more volume into the legs, into the arms, just getting the tolerance higher.
I think the coolest part of your story is that he was going to go team this year. I was trying to get some other guys to go team. They're like, no, we want to go individual.
I was pushing.
Finishes just barely kind of out, but since people went team, he got into regionals, and then he's the only one out of that group that he tried to get to go.
Oh, wow.
To the games.
I didn't know that.
So,
Nice.
Right on.
Yeah, we got some guys back home who were pretty handy, like multiple year regionals athletes, and we were going to put a super team together, like, let's go to the games, it'll be awesome.
Right.
And one of the girls was like, no, I want to go individual, like, one more time. And I was like, God, all right, fine, we'll go individual. But like, so in 2017, I came like 15th or 14th in the region. Right. So I was like, maybe I'll try to get top 10, but like, I don't know if top 5's doable yet. So I was like, whatever, got nothing really to play for. Fine, we'll go individual. Hit it next year. And then, the Open was really discouraging for that reason, because it was like, I had a big weakness with double unders in week 3, and that was what threatened to put me out of the in our region as top 30, because we're Australia and New Zealand, so we get 30 and Asia get 10. And that's what put me out of the 30, kind of climbed my way back to like close enough that I knew I'd get an invite, because a bunch of guys were going team. And it was, and I felt like, well, if that's my Open performance, is regionals going to go much better? Like, I know regionals programming suits me a bit better, like heavier, more technical, and there's less people to have to like every second, every stuff up doesn't matter as much, and you can play the field a bit better. But it was still like, well, if that's the Open, then regionals won't go that much better. But it did go a lot better.
At what point in regionals were you like, hey, I've got this?
Yeah, walk us through that.
When the workouts were announced, there was nothing that left off the page at me as being like completely my strength, because I mean, like, Linda was heavy and had bench, and so everyone assumes that like the strong people are going to do well at Linda. But as James proved, it's more of a fitness workout. Like, if you can do the deadlifts and the bench in unbroken or at least 2 sets, if it's not a strength issue there, then it's only a fitness issue from there, because the cleans and running, even just the running, like you could literally make up a whole minute if you chose to run from round 5 onwards versus if you chose to run from round 3 onwards. And it was hard to run back to those deadlifts, because you knew they were going to, like, for me, the deadlifts were the hardest. They're just going to fold you up. And so Linda looked good on paper, but I was like, it's not a workout that I think I'll win. The rope climb thruster was a good workout, but I didn't think I'd win it. It was kind of like, these are all goodish workouts, nothing really to inspire me, but, could be worse. And then 333 was better than I expected. It wasn't a flash finish, but for me, that was pretty good. And then I actually did come 4th in Linda, and I thought, okay, that's a big point spike. The handstand walk master, that one, I love that. It was the funnest one, because it barely hurt. It wasn't that much work. It was just technical execution. And I came 5th for that one, I think. And so at this point, I think I was in the top 10. And then after event 4, I was in the top 5.
Wow.
And that's when I thought, okay, there's one day left. Event 5 was not going to be amazing for me, but event 6 should be. So I thought it could happen. And my coach, the guy who owns the box where I'm from, he was like, he reckons he would never had doubt. He was like, no, this is going to go perfectly to plan. Event 5 will probably knock you out, but then you'll come back in with one of those, like, finishes that everyone sees at regionals every year. Right. Where you jump from 10th to 4th.
Yeah.
So it was at that point that I thought, like, I could do it. It just, things have to fall where they may, and just trust the process. And if I do the best I can do, the score will either be good enough or it won't. But I've done the best I can, so it's going to happen or it won't.
That's so awesome.
That's
what a great story.
Yeah, because, I mean, we were talking the other day, we were doing a little run and a little ruck, and he was like, yeah, I haven't been doing a ton of the, like, swimming and running and stuff, because I was training for regionals. I wasn't training for the games. So now he's like, I got to play a little catch up here. Wow. So
yeah, and I've been training with James and Tia, and so Tia obviously is known for being one of the best endurance athletes. She has, like, won all the endurance events the last couple of years of the games. And James is actually, like, kind of underrated, but he's one of the best, like, endurance athletes, at least in our country as well. And so I've been doing all the swimming and biking and running with them. It's not been good for the confidence. Great for training to obviously play with people who are way better than you, but it's like, oh man. But as they keep reminding me, there's probably a lot more people between, well, there is a lot more people between me and that. They are probably up in the top 5 tier and in the top 3 for those workouts.
You want to tell us how you did in your mile time trial this morning?
Well,
PR,
we can't give away too much.
Well, no. I'm not saying you have to tell us the gory details,
I don't
but
mind
you
for
PR'd,
myself,
right?
but Shane doesn't want Tia and James's times again.
Well, no, not that. I just mean you personally.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Well, I did PR my mile today by a lot.
Right on.
That's awesome.
Man, it was awful. It was so awful.
Terrible.
I heard you ate some pavement though coming up the mountain the other day.
Oh yeah, on the bike.
Yeah.
I've never ridden clip-ins before.
Okay.
And like I'm getting better, but there's still that panicky moment when you're going to put the left foot down, but that's the one that's still clipped in. And it's like, uh-oh. But that one, that stack in particular was right up near the church past seniors. There's a bit of, the church is on some gravel.
Right.
So I've gone to turn around and I've just gone off the road with the gravel and the bike just
went out.
And I kind of like tried to do like a little handstand, like save myself. And I did save most of the damage. Like I got a bit scratched up, but I didn't
Well, that was the bike I usually ride and you trashed it and I'm totally upset about that. No, I'm just kidding. That's not even true. I made that up. I have no idea.
So what are your goals going into the games now?
Well, I don't have any placement goal because I don't want to put any of that kind of pressure on me. But the one goal is just to give me something to focus on and try and push a little harder for is I want to finish in the top 2 of the Aussies. Try and make the invitational team.
Oh, that'd be cool.
For this year.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Well, we didn't hear anything about who you are prior to game stuff. Like, what's your job? Are you married? Do you have children?
So I'm married. My wife is actually here with us. Came over for the trip and then for the games. Obviously, we have a 11-month-old son, and I'm the full-time head coach back at our box in Brisbane. CrossFit
Jack. His son's Jack.
Jack is my son.
I've seen him out here crawling around the gym.
Him and Trice just hanging out.
Yeah, he's very close in age to Trice, so they've been playing together.
That's great.
Best friends.
Yeah, it's been good for Trice to have somebody his age that he can kind of play around with instead of just getting whooped up on by Lakeland.
That's awesome. So this is a question for everybody. So do you remember, thinking back to your childhood, when was the first memory you had of being you knew you were good at sports or you knew you were kind of athletic, being an athlete? You know what I mean? Some kind of affirmation or thought in your mind that you're yeah, I'm good at sports. You know what I mean? As a kid, I feel like everyone has a time where you kind of know oh, okay, maybe I'm better at this physical stuff than other people.
Playground. Playing football on the playground.
Yeah.
Just rock people in kickball.
Field day.
We didn't really
Remember
play
field day? Did you have that?
Oh,
we just crush everybody in field day.
Are you first picked for field day? Do you guys have field day?
Well, it's not called that, so I don't know what that means.
It's in school, when you're young, you pick teams and then everyone competes against each other. That's what ours was.
It's an official. That's not what we did. We had an official race day.
We had 6th grade Olympics.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And
okay. Well, we have sports.
I'm still a little bitter about one of the events. I don't remember what it was, but it was a couple laps around the playground, whatever it was, and I'd won a couple events. And there was this other kid that we were coming down to the last little bit, and I was trying to pass him, and he stuck his arm out. And so I swatted his arm, and he fell down, and they gave him the medal.
What?
Even though I beat him.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I'd already won some.
Yeah.
And he hadn't.
Yeah.
And I'm still bitter
Imagine
about that.
No, I didn't want to give up any of the blue ribbons.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, we didn't know. These were fake gold medals.
Really? We didn't have that.
They weren't
That's serious.
They were paper gold.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were.
It doesn't matter. It's
But
still
it was
a
weird.
gold
This
medal.
was back before you got participation ribbons. But
Right.
that was, I think, the start of it. Like I said, it was this kid hadn't won anything. I'd won a couple, and so they felt bad for him.
Yeah, that's
That's
not
frustrating.
When we were playing wiffle ball the other day,
Mm-hmm.
it hit me because you left. Hillary wanted you for something, and Josh was like, all right, whoever's the youngest 3 are going to be the captain. So there were 3 kids, and they were going to pick teams, right? And it hit me for the first time in my life, I'm going to get picked last.
No, were you?
Because you're the oldest.
Yeah, seriously.
Did you get picked last?
So there's Josh and all the CrossFit athletes, and the kids are picking their.
Yeah.
And Jordan's daughter picked me second.
Aww.
And that's the first time in my entire life it ever came to me. I'm getting picked last here. I've
You're
always been
never going
picked
to get
first.
picked last.
But you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Back in the day when kids are lining up, right, and you're dividing up teams, you didn't want to be that last one, you know?
Nah.
First
Yep.
one.
Were you ever picked last?
Seriously?
Yeah, because I could see you being the only girl trying to play with the boys, and of course,
Yeah,
if
and
you're,
I still got a solid pick.
Solid
Sorry, I'm
pick.
not.
I don't believe it.
So my earliest memory of thinking about sports was when, even from like kindergarten for PE, I've told you guys this story.
I probably didn't
The only
listen.
like
I don't
aggressive.
remember.
Well, I was more aggressive as a youngster than I'd like to admit.
That doesn't sound like you at all.
So we had to do a lap around the playground to warm up for PE, and it was me and shout out to Bo Silver. We went to his name was Bo Silver.
Oh,
we
really?
went to Catholic school together for like 8 years, and it was always us racing around to see who would win. And like if he won, like it was like a victory for whatever. But so I would just try to kill myself to run past Bo Silver. And like the second or third time he did it, he tried to pass me on the straightaway, and I just went wham, same thing. See ya. And that was the first time I remember being like, I really like this sports.
Yeah.
Like, this is so
This
fun.
is good.
Mine was he tried to armbar me, and so I put him to the ground.
Right.
Hers was just a straight up, I don't want to lose, so I'm going to cheat. Okay,
No,
just
it
so
was
we're
a
on
taking my
story.
ball and
strategic
I'm going home.
move.
No, that was cheating.
That's not cheating.
Yes, cheating.
That was before
Well,
you know
you
what
did
cheating
what the
is.
other guy tried to do to Rich.
Yes.
What?
You're the villain in the
No,
story.
I'm not.
Oh, you're the
Royce?
villain.
See,
I like
Royce
that.
is
You're the villain.
Right.
You fit
I'm
in
a
well here,
villain.
buddy.
No, I didn't know what cheating was at that point.
That's a nice T-shirt for her. I'm the villain.
I'm the villain. Yep.
Hey,
No,
there was,
no,
there was
picture of her
pretty no
face.
rules.
It's
They
not
didn't say
cheating
no contact.
unless it's
racing
roller
with
derby. Then that's fair.
That's fine.
Oh, yeah,
Or hot
that's
seat
in a
or
When
race.
you're
something.
7, you don't know that that's cheating.
Sure
I thought
you
that's
do.
how you
Cheating.
win.
Of course you do.
Just
How do you
because
not
you're
know
ignorant
that's-
doesn't mean it's not cheating.
As a 7-year-old, yeah.
Yeah, it's still cheating.
No, it was what you have to do to win.
7-year-olds know
It's
when
because
they're
you just
knocking
survive
people
in the
down.
jungle.
You know right and wrong. You went to Catholic school. Did you have to
Right.
go repent? Did you
was-
go talk to the priest? Yeah. Confession?
Get absolved.
You know, the only time I think I was like a pleaser as a young kid. So like in class, like I would never even do anything. Like I would, whatever the teacher wanted.
Except for knocking kids down at
Except for
field
knocking
day.
it. That was PE. That was different. But I'll never forget. This was in kindergarten. I don't know what I did, but I got sent to the Jesus corner, and the Jesus corner was a picture of Jesus on the wall with his arms like this, and like
Touchdown
you would,
Jesus?
like it was, yes, it was, and that's where you had to sit for like 20 minutes in silence if you did something wrong, and then after that, I never
Wow.
did it again.
Have you ever done confessional?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I cried I sobbed the first
You
time
ever
I went
done
to
that?
confession.
You're not Catholic.
I was born Catholic,
you were born
but we
Catholic, yeah.
we kind of
Yeah,
I
went
felt
from
so bad
Catholicism.
talking about
I was
what
raised
things I've
Catholic.
ever done wrong,
Yeah.
and I
You're
just
Christian, right?
sobbed.
You're
Christian, yeah. But I was raised Catholic. But
Okay.
that's what I like about Catholicism is they kind of it's all guilty and
Yeah.
like you should the Jesus corner should be the punishment corner.
Yeah,
It should
right.
be the reward corner.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Right.
So
Hey, you get to go to the Jesus corner if
yeah,
you're
'cause
good.
you'd be
right?
nice. Yeah, that's the
Turn or
point.
burn.
Well,
Yeah.
what was your memory? Do you have any like way back when? Like, oh man.
Not a specific one, but I just remember probably late primary school, early high school, just being I just adapted a bit quicker than everyone, like a bit bigger, a bit stronger than most of the guys, and yeah, I thought I could,
Yeah, what do you
should use
say?
this.
Your resting weight is 235? Is that what you said?
Oh my God.
Well, you're bigger for a CrossFitter.
103 kilos, so like 225, 228 is what I was probably last year even, I think. I can't remember the last time I weighed myself at that weight. But right up to regionals this year and like since, I've been floating about 100, 101 kilo. So 220, 218, right on that.
What are you, 6'3"?
No, 6 flat, 6.5.
Oh, really?
something
I
like
thought
that.
you were taller than that.
183 centimeters.
Just
I
looks
think
big.
that's like
Yeah.
just
Just looks
somewhere between
Just
6
swole.
and 6'1".
So big. You got me and Hewitt and Darren are midgets.
Yeah.
You guys aren't midgets.
We're not midgets, but
Well, you're one of the bigger CrossFit athletes.
I am one of the
remember?
bigger CrossFit athletes.
No, our
They're
whole
at-
group is like a relatively uniform height. It's perfect.
Except
It
for
actually
Chris.
works
There's
out
some
really
real midgets
well.
out there.
Like there just isn't a lot of, it's the perfect like all across.
Yeah,
you know?
well, that's what you want for team. You want that same heart in the worm, right?
Yeah, that makes it a lot
Which
better.
we didn't have in 2016. Our girls were like shorter than they're probably shorter than Tasia.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and the 3 guys were like as tall as me.
You wonder, are they like even touching the worm at that point when it dips and there's like
No, I don't
there's
think
air
they were.
between
I think
there?
we were taking all the weight. Yeah.
wow.
That was rough. I remember that Murph. My calves and feet were so cramped from that push press
Yeah.
because I felt like it was a 3-person worm.
Wow.
With just a couple of the girls were hanging on.
Well, in
No offense to the
15,
girls.
in 15 I got rhabdo from
Oh.
Today, why is it Smash
Was that the
Ellie
swim
Day?
deadlift
You
thing
get
I heard
him
about?
wrapped up?
Yeah. And yeah, she wasn't doing it.
No, I was
Competed for
I was
5 years as an individual and never once had any thought of withdrawing. That we do one event as a team, and I thought my left hamstring. I could not bend down to touch my
How
toes.
strong is your hamstring now? I
Yeah.
improved your fitness.
I don't know. My back hurts all the time. My knees are shot. Like I don't know, Ellie.
He's a broken man.
My nerves are shot. My
It
central
really, I
nervous
don't
system's
really
fried.
think that it was necessarily my fault.
Everybody that deadlifted next to you. So, backstory.
Let's
so
tell
we,
a story.
we start the workout.
Royce, just cover your ears.
Did
Don't
we
listen. It's
swam
fine.
first. We get back to the worm. We're like, all right, it was I think 70. Was it 75, 50, 25 deadlifts?
It's your
Something
story.
like that. Anyway, and then with a swim in between.
She knows, but she's not going to help you.
And
It's
so
your story.
when we're talking about the workout, we're like, we're gonna go in some really big sets, whatever. Well, I'll stay on the front of the worm. Blah,
Right.
blah, we'll be there.
Right.
Well, first couple sets, I'm like, Hewitt, switch. He's like, what? I was like, switch. He does the set, and everybody's looking at me like, why are we switching? So I go to the back of the worm. James goes to the middle. Matt goes to the front. He does a set or two, and it's like, James, switch, James. And we're all like, what the heck happened? Ellie is the common denominator between all of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was kind of straight-legging deadlift.
She was straight-legging deadlift. She was 2 seconds behind everybody
I was
else.
Not. Now you're just fabricating things. That's not.
I don't know. That's 3 dudes. that
And so
all had to move and go somewhere else.
I honestly was like, I might have to withdraw. I cannot do
You
anything
didn't say
with my
that.
right hamstring.
That's a little dramatic.
I honestly, I swear, I thought about withdrawing. I didn't know if I could bend down to grab the bar to do the clean and jerk. Like I had to like throw my arms down there to connect to the bar to hold myself down
He thinks that
and then get underneath it.
He says that, and that year he clean and jerked just as much as the individuals. So yeah, cry me a river.
Think about how much more he could have done.
But it was much less than he could have.
And I also heard that you got beat by a mile
Over a
in
mile.
a bike
give
workout
me
the other day.
break.
Over a mile.
Let's ask
Over
Royce.
a
Let's be
mile.
objective here.
Okay.
Okay, so the little triathlon thing, we did the
mile.
swim. We did
That
the
is a
bike
long-
swim
you know how
bike.
long
This
a
is-
mile
Yeah,
is?
this-
sorry,
on a
last year,
track?
back-
We've done
By the
it
way, is
twice.
this-
We've done it twice. The first time I beat her by 4 minutes.
This is just here in Cookville
Yeah,
or at the games?
No, the
we
one we
didn't
did
do
the
it
other day.
together. So step one, if you're not racing the other person, that takes out tons of
Okay,
dimensions.
the second time I beat you by 2.5, 3 minutes. Sorry, my bad. So 7 minutes in one
Wow.
workout.
That's like a mile and a
So
half if you combine
Josh
everything.
alleges that this is beating you by a mile, but here's what we're missing. So on the ascent, old Thunder Thighs over here, he gets up hills really fast. That's fine, but it's not a mile. It just takes longer to
All I'm
ascend
gonna
the
say
hill.
is when I was on a full suspension bike, rear suspension and front suspension, we're on mountain bikes riding on the road.
We tied to the water.
Man.
We did. I rode
See
down
what I
next
did?
to you.
But is the workout to the water or is the workout back to the barn?
Bingo.
Sorry, we lost track of the whole point. Is so he gets back 4 minutes early,
Should've
but
passed
that
that
doesn't
really
mean
fast.
he beat me by a mile.
4 minutes on a bike is a mile. Beat you by a mile.
Well, that's,
'Cause
yeah,
I
that's,
was
that's
saying
the,
I
that's the
went to
metaphor.
See,
If
it's
you
a
want
it's a
to
metaphor.
metaphor, but still
It's
I
not
beat you by a
literal.
mile. 4
But
minutes on a
technically,
bike.
I think technically is the right word. It's
not.
It's
It's
a mile.
just-
Technically.
4
We went
minutes
the same
on a
speed
bicycle?
down the hill.
Yeah.
He beat me on the uphill. He beat me in that workout
and
on
the
the
flat
uphill.
and the swim.
Well, you have to add
No,
it all
you
together.
can't beat me on the flat. I'm the same as you on the flat.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Maybe
Yes.
on the faulty bike, yes.
But do you guys
You
wear
wanna race?
Garmin's?
On a faulty bike?
Do you guys wear like the GPS
I
watches?
beat you twice, Ellie.
Next time you just
On
gotta,
the hill.
What you're gonna do is you're gonna look at Rich's finish time and then figure out where you were on the GPS and see if it was a mile.
That's
Easy.
not a bad idea.
Well,
put
up
the
until
suit
we,
on.
You should just claim
We
Sinclair.
prove it different, it's a
Ellie.
mile.
Claim by
2
Sinclair.
miles, really.
yeah, we
On
should
a
say 2
bike.
miles. I mean, if we're going to be accurate.
So, on that topic, let's talk about the mental side of sports. Silver, even though I thought you were on my side, whatever.
That was awesome right
There's
there.
no side. There's no side. It's fact.
You can
just
ride
side
up
of
a
truth.
hill
There's
faster
right and
than
wrong.
me.
It's fact
That's it.
versus
There's
opinion.
just right and wrong.
You
There's
can-
just lying or the
Do you
truth.
think I've ever beaten him in anything?
Yes, a triathlon.
I was asking
beat me.
Royce.
There's
Well,
she
the
beat
fact
me.
you're asking me tips me off that yes, you probably have been doing something. So,
However,
I'll go
the
with the
next
same answer.
triathlon, who won? And
That-
by more.
Because you were probably up late at night.
Because I
biking.
actually knew what I was doing
To
instead
prepare.
of this one who
Do
had
you
done
know-
a ton of triathlons, didn't share any of the secrets.
I didn't tell him anything.
I basically
transitions and stuff.
packed my lunch and ate lunch during the transitions the first time.
It was so slow. I ran right by him on It was so
So the
great.
next time, smashed her into
Well,
the dirt.
but, so I have to tell you, my favorite picture of all time, and I wish I could just frame it and put it on my refrigerator, was this. So the next triathlon we did, I don't know who was taking pictures,
George
but
or somebody.
there's the best photo of. Okay, Rich didn't beat me in the swim that time. Technically, I started after him, and I got out of the water at the same time.
She drafted off of me.
I did, and that's called strategy.
And you
it's
did not
fine.
start after. We started at the same time because we were all late.
To draft, you have to swim relatively
We
the same
started
speed.
at the same time.
Nah, he started 10 seconds before. It was like a drop-in thing. It was like bloop, 10 seconds, bloop, bloop.
That's
If
a
we're
lie.
being accurate here. So anyway, the picture is he's out of the water and he's running and he's in transition and he's looked around and there's like this. He's not afraid of anything, but you
There's
can
no
see
fear.
the look in
it's
his
not
eyes.
fear. It's like, I'm going to crush her where she is. There was absolutely
like-
0% fear in my eyes. One, because I knew we were getting on the bike and I was going to destroy her. And two, it was like, okay, I know where she's at.
I'm
Now
gonna
I'm
have
going to
this
crush her
picture
soul.
superimposed into this so you can see him. American flag pants and all,
There
just
is
turned
no
around like.
fear whatsoever. That's a lie.
And of course, it was a hilly bike. He picked the next triathlon he picked was an extra long bike.
No,
For that reason.
It was a longer swim, a longer bike, and a longer run.
And a shorter
actually.
run.
No, it was a longer run. It was 4 miles
It was
instead of a 5K.
straight up to a fortress. It was actually kind of cool. Anyway, I would like to hear about your mental approach.
Wow. That was awesome right
That
there.
was good.
That was quality
for that,
podcasting right there.
That dog.
Let me tell you how I really feel.
Same story, two endings.
Yes. Yes.
So, what motivated you to start CrossFit? Like, what motivates you to want to work this hard to be really good at this sport?
Well, what motivated me to start CrossFit was I was doing just a bunch of Globo Gym stuff, just some basic like the three lifts, deadlift, squat, press, and I thought I'm really unfit. And someone who had a really bad idea of what CrossFit was like, oh yeah, man, CrossFit.com, just all these free cardio workouts. Just check it out. Throw some cardio into your training. And I did it. And a couple of the workouts were like, some of those quick main side burners. You're like, oh yeah, can feel my lungs on fire. And then I can't remember what workout it was exactly. It was something like deadlifts and push-ups. I think it's kind of famous. It's that 15 deadlift, 15 push-up for 10 rounds. At
Yeah, they've done it several times.
And like that's like a light, like 7-minute workout, like a sprint. But back then, I'd never done that kind of volume of deadlifts, let alone try and go fast. And my legs were like shot, my chest was like blown up. I was like, I'm not even breathing anymore. I just like can't like pick up the bar. And I was like, you can't tell me this isn't like hypertrophy training. Like you can't tell me this is not going to get me big or get you strong. So I stopped doing any kind of weights for a month and just followed main site for a straight month. But I kind of cheated where if it was a rest day, I'd go back a couple of months and find a workout. Or if it was like anything I couldn't do, so like overhead squat, had no mobility, or even a front squat was like, it was more like a Zerker squat, like hold the bar out here.
Yeah.
So I would like, skip that one too and go just find all the WODs. And I just did it for a month and I felt
How
like
long ago was this?
This was back in like late 2012.
Okay.
And
you
so I
started,
felt
6
like
years ago.
I was stronger. I was obviously a bit fitter, and I was doing stuff I'd never done before, cool stuff, like bar muscle up for the first time. Got it for the first time by trying to do one because I'd never even seen it before. But you watch the little video archives on CrossFit.com, and so I thought this is awesome, and it was just really fun. Like that's what made me want to start doing it to be better. Was that it was such fun training. I was like, why would you do anything else? This is kind of, and it's also athletic. Like the strength training or even like circuit training, you don't test the athletic muscle, you don't do like skill or anything that you don't, go to the margins of your experience. So when the 2013 Open came up, I thought, this is like a cool way you can actually compete in this, like, and test yourself against, like, I had no idea that the regionals was next. I had no idea what the games were. I just thought this is pretty cool. And I thought the Open was really small. Like, it's an online comp. It's probably going to be a couple of thousand people. And then I signed up and I did it and I got completely destroyed. Like, humbling, I suppose, but I didn't really think I was that good. But it was just amazing to see how many people actually did it. And I was like, whoa, like my scores were in the thousands. That means that thousands of people are doing this and they're kind of better than me. Not amazing, but if they're better than me, then there's guys at the top who are really good. And then so I got onto the game side, started looking at all the media, and that was so much fun. I thought, this is like a sport. This is cool. So then after the Open, I signed up. Well, I had to go to an affiliate to do the Open. Obviously, I couldn't be bothered trying to figure out the video submission. And that same affiliate that I went to, I was like, this is epic. Like, there's proper classes, like, gonna get coached. So I signed up for that and did that for about a year at that box before I then moved to the guy who owns, Mike, my coach, who owns CrossFit Torium. He owned a box called a CrossFit Lift. That's where I first went in probably late 2013, early 2014. I was with him there a couple of years. Then he obviously changed boxes to Torium, like a bigger, just rebranded, bigger, better box. And I've been with him for like the last 4 years. So that was kind of the journey. That's when I wanted to get into the sport of it, was after the 2013 Open, because it was just the funnest kind of training. And so, but it also felt more like, well, as it is, like a sport, because yes, it's training, but also as you experience these new movements and like, it's kind of gamey almost, like, wow, like I want to race against people in this. Yeah. And so that's became really fun. And then it's just been a steady process. What kept me going was the love of it. I never really thought I'd make the games, honestly. It was just, regionals would be a good goal, like to be the best in your country. Well, for us, it's the best in the country. It's kind of cool. Regionals are like nationals in Australia. So like to be some of the best in the country would be awesome. But just loving it. So I just kept doing it a lot. And the more you do it, the better you get, obviously.
Wow. Yeah. How many years total now?
Well, just on 6, I suppose. Just over 6. Yeah, 5 years in an affiliate. 5.5 years in an affiliate.
So is it the fitness aspect of it that, keeps you coming back the most? Is it the mental side of it? Is it the community aspect? Like, what is it that you think really relates to you to want to get up and do this for, we're here hours a day. Obviously, you don't take this lightly. Like, what parts of it do you think are really the driving forces behind why you wake up every day and work so hard at it?
I'd say it's the fitness first. I just love, like, knowing that your body can do so many different things. And then the community part second. So, like, I probably wouldn't have stuck around as hard or pushed as hard if I was just in the garage at home. Like, I would have loved it. I would still keep doing CrossFit even a couple of hours a day, but there wouldn't be the intensity or the fire to be one of the best if you're just by yourself. It's kind of more for fun and fitness and that kind of thing. So having a community, having people who want to achieve the same thing, even if they're not the same level as you, but they kind of know what it's like to, like, how prestigious it is to go to regionals, and having good training partners who've been there before, that helped push me performance-wise. And the mindset stuff for me, honestly, is kind of just by accident. Like, I never looked for that, but obviously you can't get very far in CrossFit without that. So that kind of just happened by accident.
So how do you handle like big moments now? You say you go from like, okay, well, maybe my goal was regionals, maybe this is for fun, but now it's like you have to hit a big lift in regionals or on a game stage. Like how do you handle that? How do you personally do that?
I've always been much better at competing than training. So in training, I'm often pretty lazy and like just find it hard to really dig deep. And I always try and push as hard as I can, but I know that in competition, it's just another gear. And I think that's the same with everyone, obviously, but it's probably a bigger jump for me than most people. That's why the Open's really hard. The Open kind of feels like competing, and you go a little harder than normal, but at regionals, you really feel like, exactly as you say, it's those moments of like, you got to execute right now. And that's like, I love that.
Can you handle a big moment? Will you succeed right now?
I don't know if that's an everybody thing, though. I've seen people, and I know people, I won't name names, that you see them in training, and you're like, man,
you can make it.
And then they get out on the field, and you're like, what happened to you? So, I think that's an intangible thing that you can't really replace, is like, and I think that comes from playing sports as a kid and doing those things that are hard.
Yeah.
But also
definitely.
enjoying the competitions. like you were saying, you think everybody, is better, but I know a lot of people that you look at them in the gym or out here, you're like, wow, they're fit. And then they get out there and just fall apart.
And there's a lot of guys like that in our region. So you're right. There's definitely like a split between people who like rise to the occasion and people who kind of fall under the pressure. But I feel like it's a common, amongst the top guys, it's a common theme that like you'd never as sore in training as you are after regionals, for example, because you'd never
the intensity, you never push that hard.
Right.
And so, that's why the Open's really tough for me. Because it's hard to like, you got obviously you're imagining there are literally thousands of people doing the same workout as you, and most of those people won't make regionals, but if you let them beat you in that workout, all of a sudden you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can get squashed in one workout by a bunch of essentially randoms. But it's hard to visualize those people next to me, whereas when I'm at regionals and I can actually see that guy, it's like, I'm going to beat you now.
Yeah.
And I like as I said, the handstand workout was so fun for me because I loved that workout where it was execution. Like you went just a little too early and stuffed up.
Yeah.
Even if you could get right back on it, you've lost the lead. Like with someone else who just performs, and also the workout's not even hard really. It's hardly any work in that workout. It was like 150 pistols and 27 muscle ups.
Yeah.
But it was just hitting those handstand ramps every time.
Yeah.
And even just the fact that like most people, I remember talking to a few guys that I know in warm up being like, the ramps, like the easiest part, like for sure. Like, are you guys just going to go on, like once you make the stairs, you go and broke on the next one? They were like, no, I'm not going to risk it. I was like,
whatever, dude.
Yeah. I was like,
see you guys later.
This is the time to risk it.
Right,
this is what's up. So I except for one round, I think round 2 after the muscle ups, I was cooked in the shoulders. So I was like, better break it up. But every chance I could, I was like, go on broken because
might as well.
This is what you're here for, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a drug. It's the thrill.
It sounds like you.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is kind of how you've
out,
described competition. You hate the open. You know it's necessary, but you hate it. You can't wait to get through it.
Yeah.
You know, you're a lot that way when it comes to compete, man. It's a different gear for you.
We were talking about that on the ruck run. I was like, I wish the open was 24 hours, like one shot.
Yeah.
I wish it was like
doors,
3 weeks long, 2 workouts a weekend or something like that.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't have to like think about the one workout and do it, however many times, or know other people are doing it however many times. One shot at it.
That's what annoys me is that people redo it 3 or 4 times, like because then you have to redo it. Don't have to. It depends on the athlete, but depending on the workout too. My goal, I said to Rich, my goal has always been to be fit enough to never have to redo
the workout.
And out of the 6, 3 of them were one and done. And then one of them, week 3 was 4 times.
Jeez.
And I kept coming in.
Is that
the double under one?
That's the double
You did that one 4 times, bro?
And I don't know. It's so funny. Like I'm real bad double unders, so I don't know how I wasn't getting sore from it. Like you'd think it would beat me up, but because in the workout it was like crushing me. But then I just wasn't sore, and the next day I was like, "Is it dumb to do this again?" And I was like, "Well, I've trained all year for this. If I don't do it, what I'm going to do? Train for 2019? Like, like might as well do it again."
This is another really good example of the difference between CrossFit Games and the sport piece.
Yeah.
And then for the rest of the community, where guys like me get excited about the open because it's that one chance a year where you really get to test yourself.
Yeah.
And you get excited about that, and for those few weeks, you really get into it, and that's my spot to get to compete.
And I would have loved to not need to do it again. To like do it once, and maybe it was a terrible result, and be like, well, that's my learning for the year. Like, got to put these in the program more. Got to work on this or fix something. Maybe it's my head space around double unders, whatever, and move on.
Right.
But like I said, I'm stuck in that position of like, but I can't because it's going to end my regionals journey, so I have to do it again 2 or 3 more times. Like I've learned the lesson, but now I got to mash into my face with it because there's what else are you going to do? Like I said, call it quits for the year. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Got to the place now where you just want to do it once and you don't even care anymore.
I don't even care. This year was the first year that I was like, you know what? Because I mean, when I competed as an individual, I actually didn't do them a ton. A couple of them I may have done twice. But then when we were on the team, I don't know why, but I would get so caught up in like, oh, I'm going to do it 4 times or whatever. Yeah. And this last year I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it once. Yeah. I'm not even going to look at the leaderboard, and we're going to see what happens. And I mean, came in 10th. So, I guarantee the people in front of me did it multiple times. So, I was happy with that.
Shay and Tia are like that. Like they'll try and just do it one and done. That no need to redo it. No need to even like even Shane said he wished he hadn't had Tia squat clean as much in week 2 because it doesn't even want the competition to know what she's capable of that early in the season. But all they care about is getting in the top 5 in our country, because then what they do is they take our top 5, the Asian top 5, and make that heat 1. Our 6 to 10 Asian 6 to 10, that's heat 2, and then our rest of our 20 or whatever is the next couple of heats. So they want to be in the top heat, obviously, because it's tactical advantage at regionals to know what you have to be to set yourself up well. Except this year they kind of did it differently with the 333. That was kind of like gamesy style, like almost a mass start, and that allowed people to seed their heats. So James, who had a bit of a rough open, a couple of niggles, and also just was kind of a bit in a slump training wise. It's so funny because it's like week 2 and like the update shows like writing him off, like, oh, he's not going to make it back. He came 100th in week 1. It's like, there's like 5 more workouts. And, so he was in the bottom heat, but 333 was like, it didn't really matter who was around you. You just execute. It's like a triathlon. You execute the perfect pace, and he won the workout from the bottom heat, like annihilated it. People could chase his time, heat 2, 3, and 4, but like, what are you going to do? Get really fit at running all of a sudden in one heat because you saw the time? Like, you can't exceed your capacity. So there's no way that they could beat his time.
Yeah.
So
We like to talk about like mindset stuff. What's your motivation for CrossFit? Why are you doing it?
mostly just because it's fun.
Yeah.
And then the landmarks in the sport, like regionals and games, give me something to actually aim for, and because it is fun, but like I said, like competing, being out on the stage and like putting yourself up against someone and winning is fun. Losing obviously is not fun, but there's still chance there for learning and so on. But I would say that just the primary reason is purely the enjoyment.
Yeah.
Because even this far, I didn't think I would get this high, like at all, let alone this early. So it's purely for the enjoyment.
When you get into that tough spot, in a workout, or what's going on in your mind? What gets you through those hard spaces?
In training, it's mostly just wanting to prove to myself that you can go a bit better. Like you want to be better every day. So if I know that this is a point where I'd normally have to stop and rest because I'm gassed or whatever, I just want to prove I can pick it up a little earlier and go a little harder. In competition, it's like I want to show myself that I'm better than that guy or that guy next to me.
Yeah.
I want to win.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It's different motivations, and that's why the training motivation's a bit weak actually, because that's why I slump in training a bit, because it's like, well, I'm probably already a little better. My time's probably gonna be faster than last time anyway. Do I really have to hurt that much? Ironically, the easiest times of the season to train for me is like the off season. That's when it's like when there's a big gap between regionals and open, it's like you just want to go in there and just thrash yourself and beat your training partners, have a good time. When you get really close to the open or regionals, I'm just like, every time I go in the train, I'm like, oh man, does it matter if I hurt right now? A week from now I'll be on the floor. This workout doesn't matter. Like, who cares?
Right.
Which is so stupid, because the other way around, right? You're trying to prime yourself to be in condition and then, taper off volume wise, but be ready to kill.
Yeah.
But it's like the opposite. I'm like, it doesn't matter until next week. I can't be bothered. So that's like, I don't know if that's a normal slump heading into big comps. I know you talked about the other day.
Pretty
That,
normal,
just like, I wish the games was here now. Like, it's just
this time of year, you're like, okay, I've had enough.
Yeah. You just exactly.
Let's get this going.
Like, I'm trying to save my performances. I don't want to,
Right.
PB something now when I could have done it at the games.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's why some of that Mayhem athlete programming has been good for you.
Yeah.
Because you already got that competitive nature, but it's challenging.
Yeah,
It's got something that sets the bar high.
And that's, I was like saying before with the gymnastics volume, like it's like doing workouts that had like 60 muscle ups in it and like 60 power snatches and stuff, and you kind of get pretty competent with that, and then you go to regionals and there's 9.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Sure.
Yeah.
or like doing like rounds of handstand push-ups, like 25s in a round strict. You get to regionals and there's 50 in one set. Like, okay, like it's good. It's like to be out trained on the stimulus, like overtrained on the stimulus.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But
You already know you can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting too, though. Like you talk about, like, you point out that his mindset, it's, like when you're a natural competitor, like it's just inherent and that comes out. You know what I mean? You're saying, oh, that's more rare because there are a lot of people that get out there and they don't perform anything like they do in practice.
Yeah.
And if you think, I was thinking back to like the earlier part of our conversation, like, did you guys have any moments when you were young where you failed in a sport that kind of turned it around and made you hungrier? Because like we go back to like, oh, everyone gets a trophy now and a ribbon, but it's like you're still bitter about your childhood. That dude that got
I tried out for basketball one time in 5th grade, didn't make it. Yep.
You said nah.
I'd never played basketball before. Never. Didn't even know anything about it. And I was like, I'll try out.
Right.
Missed it. Yeah.
So what did that make you do it when that happened?
Oh, I was pissed.
Right?
It just made me better at baseball and other stuff. I mean, if I would have had a chance to like get better at basketball, I mean, I would have liked to, but I just never. Basketball wasn't my thing. Never really played it. But I remember I was pissed.
Yeah. I just think things like that are more defining, especially like I remember. So the first 5K I ever did, I was really young, but it was like it was a Mardi Gras race, and I remember walking by the trophies had like those like neon necklaces that light up inside of them, and I was like, I need one of those, like, and I got 4th. Only the top 3 people get the little thing, and I was like, I cried the whole way home, and I was like, I will get that trophy.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So like that was like, it was good to fail because that taught me about hard work, like, do you have things in your sports life, even as a kid, that like were positive in turning that around? Because you are inherently better on the competition floor, you know? Usually that comes from some
Yes.
sort of experience.
It might be a bit more of a cultural gap. Like, I mean, back in Australia, in Brisbane, like if you try it for a team, you're probably going to make it because they probably just need the numbers to make the team. It's not nearly as competitive in Australia, which is the problem with Australian sport. It's just not enough people like competing in the sports. Apart from the big ones, obviously like swimming and stuff. So there's no defining moment of failure. It's kind of the other way around. This is exactly what happened to me the last couple of years with failing to make regionals too. Was I do remember one time we did a beep test in high school. At the time, I felt like I just with how I was training and doing PE and stuff, like not training, but like just how I'd been performing in PE. It's probably about 15. I should be able to do really well. And I'd just come off the back of a season of AFL. We did a lot of running, obviously. Okay, let's go. And I think I got like 11 or 12 or something, which is like decent. Like I impressed myself. And I was probably one of the last 5 left. And then one guy like made like maybe a couple more beeps. And then one of the kids, and he was just nothing special, just a natural runner, light guy. He went on to like 14 something, I reckon. It was like ridiculous. Like it breaks the little chart for like that age group. And I remember watching it being like, what's the difference between him and I? Obviously there was some like probably 10 kilos lighter, blah, 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 all the facts. But what I meant was more deep, like, why can't I do that score? Like I probably can if I'm willing to hurt as much as he was hurting or run a bit more or whatever. And that's exactly the mindset I've always had with like I remember 2015 specifically in the Open, it opened with the clean and jerk, the part 1, part A. And so that was like a gift. Like I was in the top 5 in our region after those 2 workouts, and I was like trending up for the next couple of workouts, probably sitting around 20th out of the 30. When week 4, the first time they'd ever done handstand push-ups in the Open, like you could almost count you wouldn't do them. Like it was, you could just escape them until regionals, and you're probably, embarrassed of it at regionals, but who cares, you're there. No, they brought them out in the Open, and I knew they were a weakness, but I didn't know how bad until you were stacked against everyone in Australia. And it like, I think I came literally 1,000th and like 10th for that workout or something. Like just, it was done. That was it. Like call it a day on the Open. And I remember thinking like, I failed, but it was like, that just means I just need more work on handstand push-ups.
Right.
Like it's just told me what I already knew. Like if I'd made it, I would have almost been like cheating because I know I would have just gone there and sucked anyway at the handstand push-ups. So whatever. And the next year, same thing. The workout, the chipper with the 55 handstands, it still got me when I couldn't get past into round 2. I was a lot better, but I just wasn't good enough yet. It was the same thing. It was like closer, but it's just all it's telling me is what I already knew. They're a weakness, got to keep working on them. And then 2017, when they repeated that chipper, I got back to the deadlifts and made regionals that year. So it was like, I never really felt like I've failed. It's like I just got to work on this more. Yeah. Like it's just a litmus test for if I'm doing the right thing. And if I'm trending up, then I'm trending up. Yeah. And if I'm trending down, that's a problem. But as long as I'm improving the weakness, I'm not failing. I'm just not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. Well, and then I was.
What's up with the beard? You keep saying, I need to shave this thing off. It's too hot.
We didn't pack anything to shave it with. I didn't pack any razors or anything.
I got beard trimmer. Let me know.
I might have to take you on that because it's getting so annoying.
I thought you were like, it was your training beard or something. I didn't know if that was the deal.
So I never shave down to the skin because I just break out. It just ruins me.
Yeah, I've never done that since I worked at the fire department.
And I look like I'm about 10 years old. It's no good. So I before regionals, like I went and got a haircut, and they just do the beard trim as like just a service. So once he trimmed it all back and like it's not in your lips and stuff, I was like, okay, cool. I didn't think about it. And then I got a haircut again before he came out here, and the same thing. They did the beard trim, and so I didn't think about it. And then I here a couple of days, I was like, oh my God, it's winter back at home.
So hot.
I'm like, it's so sweaty. I'm trying to eat food. It's in the mustache. Oh, it's so.
I got a beard trimmer for you.
It's the worst. I hate it. I hate beards.
Ted comes up to me today. He's like, hey, do you have a beard trimmer? I was like, yes, Ted.
Yes, Ted.
He goes, can you show me how to use it? It's like, I don't know how. Because the one day, he was like, it wasn't that long, but he needed to shave. And he just takes Bic razors and just like
just hacks into it.
Just hacks into it. And I was like, dude, no.
Wow.
No. He was like, when we went to Florida after regionals.
He was like,
there was like
bleeding.
4 Bic razors in the thing. He looked like Robin Williams in Jumanji. Like, you shave with a piece of glass, you know? Like,
Well, you guys have about a little over a week to go for the games.
Yep.
I'm sitting here with 3 games competitors. What are you guys thinking, man?
Ready for it to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited now. I felt the first couple of days here, I was training with Tier and James. I was getting crushed, and I just felt like so munted. I was like, what is up? And I think it really was jet lag.
Yeah.
Like, I know everyone says it takes a few days, but I felt like I wasn't jet lagged. And then I think it was the day after we did the ruck run. So like the Friday was a really easy day. I called it. I was like, did the a bike session with Tier and James in the morning. And I was like, we went shopping to get some groceries, and I was like, I feel so sick. I'm wrecked. Like, I'm going home. Like, I text Jane. I'm like, man, I'm not going to make it. You guys going without me. And we went in that night because Lo was doing some stuff with Hillary, and me and Rich went for just an easy jog, like a ruck thing. And then the next day I was like, oh man, I feel so good.
Right.
And the last couple of days have felt great. So I'm like, okay, now I am ready. It was exactly what I came early for, to get past that awful, like, you just feel. It was like I was sick. It was like I was actually sick.
Right.
Just couldn't perform every workout. Like, I was not excited to train at all.
Right.
It was like, Shane's like, all right, we'll rest about 20 minutes, we'll hit this next thing. And I was like, tell me it's over. Like, can we go home? I don't want to do this anymore. Like,
I heard something the other day that was like, I'll tell you in a sec. That was like, it was like you're supposed to take you'll feel bad. Your body doesn't recover. It's like a day per time zone or something. Like,
really?
You're not fully recovered till that was like the statistic was 1 day per time zone.
What, 13 days or something like that?
Yeah.
15,
how many time zones did you pass?
15. It's 15 time zones to LA. LA is our time zone minus. It's plus 15 a day later.
Yeah,
and then another two time zones to hit.
Behind.
Yeah, right now we are a day behind, but 17 hours ahead. That makes sense.
Wow, that doesn't make sense.
On that.
I have
What is
to
that?
think that through.
7. We're 7 hours backwards.
Wow.
Excited. I'm excited.
Ooh.
You're excited?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
That's
awesome.
Ready for it to be here.
Last couple of days have been really kind of quiet and calm around here. Everybody's been kind of focused. And
Speaking of broken hammies, the team event 1.
Yeah.
At least it's loaded evenly now.
We get to bike and deadlift again.
Because we had partner deadlifts at regionals in 2016 as well, obviously on the team. And yeah, I feel like it's such a stitch up having the more weight on the guy's side.
Well, I mean, this too is like the guys have all the weight because you're on the outside.
Yeah.
Granted, the girls have to bike the same bike we have to bike, so we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, just a uniform bar is going to feel nicer, I think.
Yeah.
Because they had the 3-man bar in 2016 as well. That was
it's the
really
same bar, I
it
think,
felt
but with
so
4
much
people.
better because it was the 3 guys.
Yeah.
Same height and even weight. It was like, this is so much better. You don't feel like one hip's going to pop down.
Fall off.
One lat's working super hard. It's much nicer. So that'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Be funny to see.
Royce, glad to have you, brother.
Glad to be here, man. Thank you.
good luck.
We'll be there. We'll make sure. We'll be watching
Yeah.
whenever we're not competing.
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah. And I'll be watching the whole time.
That's right. Awesome. CrossFitMayhem.com. Mayhem Mindset. Big
Yeah,
stuff.
shoot, man. We are
Yay.
close.
We're close.
Another week and a half, and we'll start advertising for a test
pilot,
group, maybe
yeah.
like a pilot,
Yeah.
50 people maybe.
Cool.
Be good.
Yeah, new stuff coming. Games, new
Shirts.
apparel, new shirts.
There it is.
CrossFitMayhem.com. Peace.